Hi guys, molweni. I don't even know what I'm gonna be talking about. Um, so I've had so many people asking me to make videos um, on funding, university funding. And to be honest with you, I had no idea how I should do that. So that's why it has taken so long. So namhlanje, I decided to just go ahead and do it. Um, I know my audience is very diverse, and I apologize that I'll be in and out of English because I'll also be speaking my home language is Xhosa here and there. But trust me, you'll understand everything I'll be saying. So, firstly, I don't know. I don't know where to start. I'll just start from the beginning. I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, start from the beginning. So we'll do that. Firstly, when you are applying to a university, do not accept any study, do not go into any program that requires you to be the one who pays for the degree if you are doing your postgraduate studies. When we talk about postgraduate studies, we are talking about masters and PhD. Most universities see your honors as an extension of your undergrad. It's like you have in our case, I'm a scientist, so in our case it's a Bachelor of Science with honors. So it's like an excellence on top of the bachelor's degree. It's not always like that for all degrees. However, when we talk about postgrad, we mostly speak about master's and PhD levels. And in my company, Ulwazi Scientific Communication and STEM Research, we largely work with those demographics, master's and PhD. Now, there comes a time when you decide that you want to get into these spaces. Maybe you want to expand on whatever you have studied, and so you have to start looking for funding, right? Firstly, I would always advise a person start looking for funding even before you start looking for a supervisor, because when you find that supervisor, you must have a plan already of how you're going to be paying for your degree. And make sure that your supervisor will be supporting you all the way financially. And in other cases, like in my case with the University of Cape Town, I went to UCT. I did my master's and my PhD with UCT. And UCT tops you up as the university. However, even your supervisor gives you some money, but you must come with your own funds, because that tells us, the supervisors, hey, I'm a self-employed supervisor. I run a research company, and I do advising. So that's why I'm saying us. So as supervisors, you are demonstrating to the supervisor that you can source your own funds. That is a very important skill in research, being able to generate your own funds, to come up with money to run your projects. So that's the first step. You start looking while you are looking for a supervisor. Now, here's one of the greatest advices. Sorry, this is not my first language, but Professor Charles Sturton from the botany department, I did my master's in botany, gave me this great advice. He said, don't choose the university, choose a supervisor. Basically, choose someone you know is an expert in this field and do your research on that person. Usually, people like that have funding or have topics that are already standing and they are just looking for um, students to take up those topics. Now, those are great channels where you already have the funding in place. You might not like the topic, but it has funding. And in most cases, people do go ahead and do the research under that topic and start to like it at some point. If you don't ever like it, then this is tricky because it has never happened to me. So I wouldn't know how it would work, but you will just, we'll cross our fingers. Sorry, guys. Okay. Now you choose the topic with your supervisor, of course, and then you'll know what you're supposed to be doing. Don't stop looking for funding. Look for more funding. In fact, I had so much funding at UCT that it became a problem. Imagine having too much funding. The university would not allow me to register. It had allowed me to register the first time I registered, and then the second time I'm trying to register. This is my PhD level now. They tell me, no, your funding is too much. You have too much funding. You must give this funding to other students. And I'm like, no, dude, what do you mean? I got this funding on merit. So I had a huge fight with the dean, the deputy dean of the time, but I had backup from my department. My head of department she was top notch. So she really fought for me, and they basically apologized, and I continued with my funding, and I got more funding after that because PhD in my field, it takes quite a while, and at some point you'll run out of funding. After 3 years, your funding is gone, so you need to look for more funding. And that is probably what is going to happen to you, because I've noticed a lot of my clients, my research clients, are studying while working, and now that takes long. In my case, I wasn't studying or working. Sorry, I wasn't working, I was studying full-time, but the degree itself takes a long time. So be prepared for all those things. Think about what could go wrong. In my case, for example, I went to the subantarctic to collect samples. I was there for almost 2 months. Came back, everything was a mess. Now imagine all that time going to sea, spending time at sea, coming back, analyzing the samples, trying to analyze the data and seeing that nothing makes sense. And then I had to start from scratch. Now, starting from scratch means I have to start reviewing new literature. I have to look at new work that could be aligned with what I'm working on. The funding is running out. So always have a plan for how you're going to get your funding. And I wish you all the best. Thanks, guys. Cheers.